Have you ever felt like you were doing well one moment and then falling apart the next? You are not alone. That's what healing often feels like. One day you're soaring, the next you're triggered by something you didn't even see coming. And that does not mean that you have failed. It means that you are still healing. Healing does not follow a straight line. It comes in waves with highs and lows, steps forward and steps back. But here's the good news. Just because it doesn't look perfect does not mean you're not making progress. Hey family, welcome back to If Only One Overcomes. I'm Katie Lee, and I'm so grateful you're here with me today. This podcast is all about overcoming, healing, and stepping into your God-given purpose. If you're new here, welcome. You are not alone on this journey. Last week we talked about finding purpose in pain, how our struggles shape us, teach us, and even position us to help others. But here's the thing about healing. It's not a straight road. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Why healing is not linear and how to embrace the ups and downs without feeling like you're failing. So, what does healing really look like? We often expect healing to be a straight path, point A to point B. But in reality, it's a winding road with setbacks, detours, and unexpected emotions. One day you may feel strong and confident. The next, a memory or trigger can bring back pain that you thought that you were past. But hear me, that does not mean that you're broken. It means you're human. Let's start by unpacking what it means that healing is not linear. We often imagine healing like a checklist, something we complete and move on from. But like I said before, healing looks more like waves. It can feel like climbing a mountain with unexpected valleys along the way. And some days it feels like we're going backwards. But here's the truth. A setback is not failure. It's part of the journey. You can be doing well for weeks, and then suddenly something triggers an old wound. You cry, you grieve, you feel overwhelmed. That does not erase your progress. It simply means you're still healing. A bad day does not mean you're back at the beginning. It just means you're human. Let's go over 2 examples of non-linear healing. Trauma recovery. It's moments of peace followed by unexpected grief. Emotional healings after loss. It's good days and painful days. There were moments in my life where I truly believed I'm past that. I made it through. I have prayed. I have journaled. I have forgiven. And I have even helped others through their pain. But I have learned that healing does not always tap you on the shoulders and say, "You are done now." Sometimes it quietly waits until another layer is ready to be addressed. Let me share some real moments from my life where I thought that I was fully healed, only to realize I still had work to do. After my divorce, I thought once the papers were signed and I started over, I was okay. But years later, I walked into a room and heard someone laughing, just like he used to. And I froze. Not from love, but from grief. Grief over what I experienced in that marriage. That moment reminded me healing was not just about him. It was about finding me again. And the unexpected part, that day he asked me if we could go to lunch. During lunch, he told me, "You were a good wife. You didn't do anything wrong. I couldn't have asked for better. And if I ever made you feel otherwise, especially because we didn't have children, I'm sorry." I was shocked. For me, that was closure, the kind that I didn't know that I needed, but God did. My pregnancy losses. I had smiled through my family and friends having kids, stayed strong and said the right faith-filled words and kept it moving. But one day I passed the baby out at a local store and the tears came out of nowhere. I questioned it. What is this? Because I had thought I had processed it all. But there was still more to feel, more to give to God, and more grace to receive. My business that failed. I told myself I had moved on, that I had learned and grown from it, but shame still whispered every time I had to explain why I was starting over. And part of releasing that shame was forgiving the person I went into business with. That was not easy because I had trusted them with something sacred. And when it all fell apart, partly because of their actions and partly because I ignored the warning signs, I blamed myself for trusting too easily. I questioned my judgment and I carried the weight of what I lost. But God reminded me healing is not just about recovering financially. It's about forgiving others, forgiving yourself, and releasing what you were never meant to carry alone. Because even after failure, you are still worthy of success. Now, each of these moments were not failures. They were invitations, not to restart the journey, but to go deeper, to surrender more, to feel with less shame, and to let God heal places I didn't even know were still hurting. So if you are there now, feeling blindsided by grief you thought was gone, or triggered by thoughts you thought you were done with, I want you to know you don't go back to zero at the beginning. You move deeper. You are peeling back more layers, and you are healing from the inside out. And Ecclesiastes 3:1-4 says, there is a time for everything, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. This tells me that God is not surprised by our emotional season. He knows healing takes time, and He meets us in every moment of it. In Psalms 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. It does not say He rushes us. It says He's gentle with our wounds. Even David, the man after God's own heart, had emotional ups and downs all throughout the songs. If he could feel deeply and still be called faithful, so can we. Let's talk about giving ourselves grace. Why? Because setbacks don't mean you're failing. Some days you'll make progress. Other days, progress may look like simply getting out of bed, and that's okay. Healing isn't a race. It's a relationship with God, with yourself, and with grace. If no one has told you this yet today, let me be the first. You are doing better than you think. You are allowed to feel tired, to cry, to pause, and to keep going slowly. Small steps are still steps. Setbacks don't mean that you are failing. Why? Because healing is not about perfection. It's about progress. Even when you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still moving. Your bad days don't erase all the healing that's already taken place. And triggers are a part of the process. Healing does not mean you'll never feel pain again. It means you'll learn how to manage it differently. A song, a smell, or a place might bring back painful memories. Instead of seeing it as a setback, see it as a reminder that your emotions are valid and still healing. We have to stay encouraged when feeling stuck. Celebrate how far you have come instead of focusing on how far you still have left to go. Journal your progress. Speak life over yourself and surround yourself with encouragement. Healing is not a straight path. It comes with highs, lows, steps forward and steps back. But just because you're not where you want to be yet does not mean you are not healing. Okay, overcomers, we are at the end. Think about where you were 6 months ago. What has changed? What have you learned? Healing is not about reaching a destination. It's about learning, growing, and giving yourself grace along the way. Next week, we'll dive into breaking free from fear, overcoming the anxiety of moving forward. If fear has ever held you back from healing, this is for you. Remember, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are an overcomer, and your life is too important because God has a plan and a purpose for your life. Until the next episode, God bless.